Amongst the more than 180,000 images released are these pictures showing the then Prince Andrew kneeling over and touching a female whose identity has been hidden.
After years of silence and carefully managed damage control, images no one expected stormed back into the spotlight. From the United States Department of Justice, shocking photographs have emerged, and the ripples are shaking the royal family to its core. Whispers of context, explanations, and long-buried connections ignite fierce debate, while supporters and critics brace for impact. Sources hint at consequences no palace briefing could have prepared for. Is this revelation truth, negligence, or calculated exposure? What exactly do these images show? Who stands to gain? And why does this moment feel devastating for Andrew? Now, the shocking truth behind the photographs.
Has confirmed that a series of photos of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor in the latest round of the Epstein files to be released were in fact taken inside the convicted sex offender's New York mansion. Some of the images show the former prince leaning over a young woman lying on the floor.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was pictured on all fours on top of a woman sprawled out on the ground in the latest batch of Jeffrey Epstein files. Haunting new images show the former prince staring directly at the camera. The latest release from the January 2026 DOJ document dump has landed, triggered by the Epstein files. Transparency Act signed last November, and this time it includes images and emails that put renewed pressure on Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the former Duke of York. What stands out immediately are photographs that appear to show Andrew on all fours, over a woman lying on the ground. In two of the images, he appears to be touching her stomach. In another, he looks straight at the camera.
Let's begin with some of that breaking news that we're hearing this morning from Buckingham Palace, which has confirmed Prince Andrew will lose his royal prince title. The statement says he will also be forced out of the Royal Lodge.
The woman is unidentified and fully clothed. There is no caption, no date, and no explanation of where or when the photos were taken. The U.S. Department of Justice, under Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, released these images as part of a massive document dump. More than 3 million pages and roughly 180,000 images connected to Jeffrey Epstein and his Little St. James Island operations. No context is supplied for the photographs, and the BBC says it has not been able to independently verify the circumstances surrounding them. Even so, the images are already being circulated widely, largely because of the history attached to the man in them.
More documents have been released in the US showing contact between Andrew Windsor, formerly Prince Andrew, and the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Lawyer for the alleged victims says the ex-royal must make himself available to authorities.
Andrew has faced years of scrutiny over his relationship with Epstein, a relationship he has consistently said ended after Epstein's 2008 Florida conviction for soliciting a minor. He has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing. The BBC has approached him for comment on the latest release. Alongside the photographs, newly released emails offer further detail about the nature of Andrew's continued contact with Epstein after that 2008 conviction. One exchange dated August 2010 shows Epstein suggesting dinner with a 26-year-old Russian woman. Epstein describes her as clever, beautiful, trustworthy.
Jeffrey Epstein sent the Duke an email and he said, "I have a friend who I think you might enjoy having dinner with. Her name is," we're redacting that, it's a Russian name, "she will be London 20th to 24th.
Andrew, replying from an account referred to as the Duke, says he would be in Geneva until the morning of the 22nd, but would be delighted to see her. He asks whether she would be bringing a message from Epstein and whether there is any other information that might be useful to know. Epstein responds that she is 26, Russian, and already has Andrew's email address. At the time of this exchange, Epstein had completed his prison sentence just 1 month earlier. The BBC notes it cannot independently verify the authenticity of these emails, but they form part of the official DOJ release, overseen by the House Oversight Committee.
Of course, I am in Geneva until the morning of 22nd, but would be delighted to see her. Will she be bringing a message from you? Please give her my contact details to get in touch.
Another exchange from September 2010 is even more uncomfortable in tone. Epstein writes that he is in London and asks what time he and a redacted individual should come over, adding that they would also need or have private time. Andrew replies that he is departing Scotland and expects to be down by 6 p.m. He suggests dinner at Buckingham Palace, adding, "Lots of privacy." Epstein replies simply, "BP, please." The emails themselves do not spell out any wrongdoing per se. What they do show is a level of familiarity and access that sits uneasily alongside Andrew's later claims about distancing himself from Epstein after the 2008 Florida conviction.
He was convicted of soliciting and procuring a minor for prostitution. He was jailed. This was your friend. How did you feel about it?
In what has become a sea of speculation surrounding his ties to Epstein, Prince Andrew denied he ever saw his former friend with underage girls in a pointed and detailed interview with the BBC.
This is important because of what Andrew said publicly years later. In a 2019 BBC television interview, Andrew told Emily Maitlis that the December 2010 meeting, photographed in Central Park, was the only time he saw Epstein after his 2008 conviction. He described it as a mistake and said he severed contact after that. The newly released files suggest otherwise. According to documents reported by the Financial Times, Andrew continued corresponding with Epstein well into 2011, discussing damage control after press coverage and even assisting with a proposed payoff to a member of Epstein's staff.
In what has become a sea of speculation surrounding his ties to Epstein, Prince Andrew denied he ever saw his former friend with underage girls in a pointed and detailed interview with the BBC.
That episode begins after the News of the World published photographs in February 2011 showing Epstein and Andrew walking together in Central Park the previous December. The story caused immediate backlash given Epstein's criminal conviction. In messages released by the DOJ, Andrew writes to Epstein, "It would seem we are in this together and will have to rise above it." Epstein, increasingly paranoid, believed a staff member identified only as Jay had leaked information to the press. He wanted that person gone and discussed a $60,000 severance payment. Epstein makes clear he does not want to pay it himself, writing that a payment from him would look like a payoff for the little bleep if disclosed.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor appears to have knowingly shared confidential information with Jeffrey Epstein when, as Prince Andrew, he was a UK trade envoy. Emails seen by the BBC from the recently released Epstein files show Mr. Mountbatten Windsor apparently passing on details of investment opportunities.
Andrew volunteers to help. "I assume it could come from any legal firm to protect," he writes, suggesting lawyers be used as a buffer. Epstein agrees, saying there should be nothing direct and that the former employee should sign a general release. The files do not indicate whether the payment was ever made, but the correspondence alone contradicts Andrew's public account of having ended the relationship after the 2008 Florida conviction. There were also references in the documents to Epstein offering to bring women to Buckingham Palace, to Andrew referring to Epstein's circle as "my U.S. family," and to ongoing discussions about money and introductions between the Little St. James Island Network and the Royal Lodge Windsor.
On 27th February 2011, Jeffrey Epstein emailed a member of the British royal family saying Jez Staley will be in London on next Tuesday afternoon if you have time. The royal family member emails back, "Keep in close touch and we'll play some more soon."
One email from late December 2010 has Andrew writing, "How are you? Good to be free," shortly after Epstein's release from house arrest. Taken together, these exchanges paint a picture of continued closeness at a time when Andrew has said there was none. Make sure you hit that subscribe button because I've got a special video coming tomorrow that you absolutely won't want to miss. Subscribe now and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. The latest tranche also revives discussion around Sarah Ferguson, the former Duchess of York. While she is not named in the emails released this week through the Epstein Files Transparency Act, commentary around the documents has highlighted how embedded Epstein appeared to be in their lives.
To be true or whatever. And the reality is that he's now been caught lying about what he told Emily Maitlis in that Clear the Air interview. And the genesis of all this was he said, I'm going to publicly go to court and I'm going to clear my name and defend my honour in the case against Virginia Giuffre. At the last minute, he caved and gave her a cheque for a reported $12 million.
He was invited to Andrew's birthday at St. James's Palace in February 2010. He was discussed as a trusted confidant. There were conversations about money, introductions, and access. Last year, Ferguson claimed she felt compelled to remain loyal to Epstein because he was blackmailing her. The newly released material does not confirm that claim, but it does show a tone of deference and familiarity that many observers find difficult to reconcile. For victims of Epstein, that tone is particularly painful. Several commentators have noted the almost casual way Epstein is discussed, welcomed, and accommodated within palace spaces after his conviction.
About the timeline of his friendship with Epstein. He claimed in that interview that he went to New York when he was seen walking in Central Park, had to spend 4 days partying with him, apparently, to break the bad news, I'm not going to have anything more to do with you, which in itself sounded ridiculous. And he said he didn't have any contact with him afterwards. Now in the emails, not only did he carry on having contact, and these are just emails that have come out.
The language in the emails is friendly, even obsequious at times, and it is that normalization that continues to provoke anger. As for the photographs, they remain the most visually jarring element of this release. Without context, it is impossible to say what was happening in those moments. The DOJ release offers no explanation and no one has been identified, but the images exist now in the public record. And given the history, they add to the sense that there are still unanswered questions. Andrew was stripped of his royal titles last October amid mounting pressure over his association with Epstein. He no longer uses His Royal Highness and does not represent the monarchy in any official capacity.
And again, look, in answer to your first point, we don't know yet what Andrew did or didn't do. The only way he's ever going to clear his name now is to submit himself to all investigating authorities.
He has consistently denied wrongdoing and has not been charged with any crime in connection with Epstein. The emails and photographs released do not change that legal position. What they do change is the volume of detail available and the extent to which previous public statements can now be compared against contemporaneous records from this January 2026 DOJ document dump. The behavior documented in these emails fits into a larger pattern of continued contact and familiarity that contradicts Andrew's public statements. As the emails emerged, more questions surfaced about his shocking willingness to remain connected to Epstein even after the 2008 conviction.
Mail on Sunday publishing emails they say are from Andrew to an aide of the late Queen Elizabeth. I have given her date of birth and social security number for investigation with XXX, the on-duty personal protection officer. The paper saying these emails come from the Epstein files.
The exact timeline, the full nature of the relationships, and the meaning of some of these exchanges remain unclear. More documents are still being released under the House Oversight Committee's ongoing investigation, and reporting is ongoing. For now, this latest batch offers something new. Images we had not seen before, emails that go further than earlier disclosures, and a clearer sense of how entangled these relationships may have remained after Epstein's 2008 Florida conviction. What is particularly striking about these releases is how they systematically dismantle the narrative Andrew presented in his 2019 BBC Newsnight interview. He claimed the December 2010 Central Park meeting was the only contact after 2008. The emails show continued correspondence into 2011.
Andrew's friendship with Epstein seemingly lasting longer than Andrews claimed. Recently released emails appearing to show that the prince wrote to Epstein in 2011 saying, "We'll play together soon," months after he said he'd cut off all contact.
He claimed he severed the relationship after that meeting. The documents show him offering assistance with damage control and staff severance payments. He claimed distance and discomfort with Epstein's world. The emails show him inviting Epstein to Buckingham Palace for private dinners and referring to Epstein's network as family. Years before this January 2026 document dump, there were suspicions that Andrew's public statements did not tell the full story. Those who followed the case closely immediately noticed inconsistencies in his BBC interview, particularly around timing and the nature of his continued contact with Epstein. These observations were more than just speculation. They now read like accurate assessments confirmed by documentary evidence. According to the newly released files, Andrew maintained a level of familiarity and mutual assistance with Epstein that goes far beyond what he has publicly acknowledged. Fast forward to now, and the documents make clear just how extensive that continued relationship was. The shocking photographs brought Andrew's connection to Epstein back into sharp focus, and the emails revealed patterns of behavior that directly contradict his sworn statements during the BBC interview.
Now, there is only one story dominating the front pages this morning as the man once dubbed Queen Elizabeth's favourite son begins his first full day as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor after being stripped of his prince title.
So when you look at these newly released photographs showing Andrew on all fours over an unidentified woman, and the emails revealing continued contact, assistance with severance payments, and invitations to Buckingham Palace for private time, do these documents change how you view Andrew's past statements, or do they simply confirm what many people already believed? The images are jarring, the emails are damning, and the contradictions are undeniable.